One thing about me, I love yapping about my research. I currently work as a postbac research fellow for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and I have for the past year or so. My research specifically focuses on global child health and implementation science, specifically on something called Pediatric Early Warning Systems, or PEWS. So PEWS is an evidence-based intervention that helps prevent the clinical deterioration of hospitalized children with cancer. It consists of a scoring tool and an action-based algorithm, and it's very easy to use and implement and is frequently used in a lot of high-income countries, but not so much so in low and middle income countries. Just for a baseline or some context on what I'm talking about, this is the PEWS scoring tool. You can see here that there are different symptoms in the respiratory, cardiovascular, neuro and behavioral range, as well as like family concerns and nurse concerns. And based off of the symptoms that the child presents with, you then have a score for that child. So after that, you have the score tallied up over on this side, and the total score is then used to identify what steps need to be taken in that child's care. So for example, if your total score was only 0 to 2, then routine care would continue the same as it was. But if your score is greater than 5, you need a mandatory ICU consult, and you need to be checking that patient's vital signs more frequently than you have been before. This tool is primarily utilized by nurses. So nurses are really the core of who is implementing and taking this score, but obviously it takes an entire clinical healthcare team to be aware of this for it to function. But going back to the point that I made earlier, PEWS is used in high-income countries and less so in low and middle-income countries. So the research team that I work with, or the PI that I've had the pleasure of working with for the past year, designed PEWS in Spanish called Escala de Valoración de Alerta Temprana, known as Proyecto EVAT. And way back in 2017, the team validated the tool in the clinical context of a hospital in Guatemala. But since that validation in 2017, there have been over 125 centers that have implemented PEWS or EVAT all across Latin America. However, there are 26 hospitals that initially failed to implement and use PEWS within their given setting. So my research tries to assess the barriers that hospitals face to initially implementing PEWS, and tries to better understand some of the strategies that they utilize to apply and implement PEWS the next time around with success. I am more than happy to continue talking about this, so please feel free to ask questions in the comments about the specific methodology of this project or what it will lead to in the future. But yeah, that's just a little bit about my research.